Last week is a very busy week in the financial market as we see some economic activities last week. From the ISM manufacturing PMI to the unemployment claim from the United States. And then we have the FOMC report last week, which the Fed kept the rate unchanged. And then he said that if depending on the job data, that is when they will know maybe they will actually cut rate or go for the rate hike. And then what he said was, if they have a disappointing job data, it means that they are in for the rate cut. And then if they have maybe better than expectation job data, it means that they will be in for the rate hike. But on Friday, we saw the disappointing one in the job data, which came out lower than expectation. And then we saw a weaker US dollar, which fade away after some minutes. And then the US dollar strength dominates markets to the end of Friday last week. And then now I think after the job data, we should be expecting rate cuts probably in the third quarter of 2024. There is high probability of rate cuts towards this third quarter of 2024. But why do we see US dollar strength last week? The reason being that the inflation, they have target inflation, which is 2% target, and then they have disappointing job data. So for now, in my own opinion, they won't want to rush and go for rate cuts because of stagflation. So what they need now is to hold rates steady for a longer period of time to accumulate more data so that they can be able to get their 2% inflation target. Probably that is what market take into consideration last week, and then we saw the US dollar strength back to the radar. So what are we still looking at in the market going to the next week? We are still supporting US dollar strength going into the next week. That is we should see DSY going back to 107 price, and then probably if that 107 break, then we should see price going to 110. So guys, this is Ambafx. Welcome to the weekly forex forecast. This is where I bring you the latest insights in the world of forex market, the fundamental, the technical, and then probably the sentimental. So do well to subscribe, like, and share, and don't forget to turn on the notification in case I drop new videos, so that you can be notified. So a big thank you to everybody that has been supporting this channel. So I appreciate your support, and then continue sharing this content. So before we go into the individual currency, let's check the economic activities of next week, and then let's see how we'll be positioned for the opportunity. Next week might actually be a little bit of quiet week, as on Monday we just have the Swiss franc SNB, and that is chairman speech. That is a Bank of France. So let's see how it go. And then on Tuesday we have Australian dollar monetary policy statement. That is an interest rate report from the RBA. So let's see what they are going to do. But I'm still favoring Australian dollar strength going into the next week, New Zealand strength going into the next week, probably most of the commodity currency strength going into the next week. On Wednesday, we don't have much on Wednesday. We just have the US dollar 10 years bond auction. So let's say on Thursday, that is when we have pounds monetary policy. That is from the Britain. So let's see what they will drop. So they are predicting on holding their rates to 5.25 as the previous. So let's see what they will do. But in my own opinion, I see rates on chain coming from the Bank of England, that is a BOE. And then on Thursday too, we have unemployment claim from the US dollar, which means that the job data comes out better than disappointing, sorry, last week. We should see the number of unemployment claims skyrocket next week. The reason being that we should see a large number of people filing for unemployment benefits. That is what I want to say. So probably be expecting this to come out probably higher than this, higher than 211,000 people. So because the previous is 208, but the job came out disappointing last week, we should see more people filing for unemployment benefits. That is because they are not actually employed, as we saw in the NFP last week. On Friday, we have the Canadian unemployment rate. That is from the Bank of Canada. So let's see what they will actually drop on Friday. And then on Friday, we have prelim consumer sentiments. We don't really have much on US dollar apart from Thursday, the unemployment claim, which you have to take note of. So probably the currency our advice going to next week is GBP AUD, AUD USD, GBP USD, and then probably AUD Canadian dollar. Probably you see more volatility in those pair I mentioned. So this is the economic activities. So let's go to the individual currencies on the watch list. So probably on DSY, so what I'm actually expecting is DSY to create a new high, because on Friday we saw it rejecting this particular level and they close above it. And if you see the 200 and the 50 moving average, it's below the price, which means that we should see price bounce from this particular area, and then we see it moving to 107. If this 107 break, then we should be heading to 110. And then if you see something like this, the DSO has been creating something like a higher high and higher low from here. So as you can see, this is higher low, then a new higher. So probably this is a higher low, which might actually create a new high, and then we'll see a break of this high, because probably we see a break of this high, and then this high to break. So probably as price come back to retest this support level, and then we can see price breaking this high and then going back to 107.223, which means that we should expecting US dollar strength going into the next week. But the first one I want to check is that is good. Recently the US dollar strength might not actually means that gold will be weaker or gold will fall. It depends on what is happening around the market. And then now what we can actually see is that we can see a reversal pattern on gold. And then if you see the 4-hour time frame, you know, they said market is a reflection of a repetitive pattern. So what really happened here is that there's a lot of support here, and then it actually holds. So let's see, probably we might see a break of this to the upside, and price might actually move back to 2,349. And if that 2,349 break, then we might be heading to the last high, which is 2,415 ounce per dollar. So let's see how it goes right here. So what I'm actually looking at on gold is to the upside. But if this support level that's sitting down comfortably right here break, then probably this should be the next support. Then if this break, then probably price will be back to this particular low right here, as you can see, to 2,209. But probably if you see the 200 moving average, the 200 moving average is still below the price level, which means that price can still find its way, and then we'll have a break of this 50 moving average to the upside. So that's what I'm actually looking at on gold. On pounds US dollar, I'm still looking for a move to the downside, as price break this level last week, but it didn't break this particular high. And using the Fibonacci retracement level, you see that price reject the 78.2 Fibonacci retracement level. So let's actually put it very well. As you can see, after breaking this 61.8 level, then it went ahead to it's go to 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level, and then we saw a rejection from 78.6 Fib level. So what am I looking at next week? So probably I'm looking for price to come back and retest this level before falling further to the downside. So I'm on sell bias on pounds US dollar. That is my first take profit should be at I'm selling pounds US dollar below this level next week, below this particular level of 25713. Then probably I'll say we should see a retest back to this area, then a move back to this low of 1.24600. This is what I'm actually looking at next week. So let's see how price react to that particular level. On euro US dollar too, I'm actually looking for the same thing, for price to for the downside move of euro US dollar, as you can see. So probably we might wait for price to do a retest and then probably back to this particular low. So that's what I'm looking at right there. So anything can happen from this low, I don't know, but this is where I'm willing to take my profit if we actually see this playing out next week. But anything higher and then breaking this particular resistance level trend line is a no trade for me. So probably I will only continue buying euro US dollar if this high is taken out. As you can see, this high right here, if it's taken out, that is when I might start buying euro US dollar. But below this, my bias is to the downside. So probably we might see retest back to this area and then we'll see a move back to the downside. And then on AUD US dollar, if you see it, price has touched March 7 high, probably. Yeah, this is March 7 high right there, and then it has reject. So and this is May. So let's see, probably if we will actually see a retest, then price will actually move back to there to retest at this low. So I'm actually on sell bias on AUD US dollar. So probably I'll be waiting for a retest, for price to probably retest this area, and then you see a move back to this area. So if this play out, this is where I'll be willing to take my profit next week. These are this demand level right there, unless we now probably see a breakout to the downside. But this is safe side I'm actually looking at and taking my profit. So the next one I want to show you is as in the US dollar. So if you check the SZD US dollar, you see that it's just creating a new low every time. After this it creates a low, it comes here, it didn't break this high, it's break this particular low. After it came here, it will just break this low, and then probably price has came here again. So probably I'm expecting price to create a new low that will break this low. So if you observe, you see that those low usually have something like double bottom to break, double bottom to break, and then this is another double bottom. So probably this might actually happen. So you should be looking for a sell bias here back to 0.5779. The sell bias that will actually break this low to the downside. That is what I'm actually looking at. On US dollar JPY, that is the next one I want to look at. You know, JPY came with their intervention last week, and then we saw JPY's trend last week, and probably it's looking like the intervention has faded away because they intervened at 160 level of the US dollar JPY. So probably I don't actually see any intervention coming this week, but if it actually come, so we will have our stop loss in place. And the reason why I said that is because I will be longing US dollar JPY next week. You know, last week I didn't trade it, but my bias now is to long US dollar JPY. That is to the upside. So probably this is what I'm looking at. Probably for price to retest, go retest, and then come back here, and then we'll actually pick a buy from here this is where, because I will not actually target the 160 level, because very, very dangerous. They might actually hit there and then price will continue falling, or they might actually hit here, hit back the 158 and price will actually start falling. So even if I'm buying, this is where I'll be taking my profit, or before that. So if I'm buying from here, this is where I will be taking my profit from, and probably the first profit might be taken from here, and which that place might actually be my second TP. So guys, look at how price react to this area. If you see a move here and then probably price bounce off this area, then you actually buy and then take a profit at 156.15, and that's its first TP. And then if still go, then I think your last TP should be 157.632, because you don't want to gamble your money to 161 where they might actually still look like, no, let us come with another intervention. So this is where I'm actually looking to buy US dollar reputable. If we now see price break this to the downside, that is when we'll actually change our bias. So guys, look at that level and see how price react to it. And then I think the next one is US dollar Canadian dollar. So on US dollar Canadian dollar, I'm still favoring to the upside, because I talk about the commodity currency strength probably next week. So this is what I'm looking at on US dollar Canadian dollar. We might see a lot of range, and then if the US dollar strength surpass the Canadian dollar on 10, which means that we will see price probably retesting this and then breaking this high and then come back to this particular higher table. These two pairs will probably have strength going into the next week, especially, you know, we have the rate statement from Bank of Canada. So let's see how it go right there. So I'm actually favoring to the upside, so probably, because if you see the 200 moving average is still below the price level, and then 250 moving average is still close to that price level. So probably price might actually just come here, create some things, and then we see boom to the upside and break this high, and then going back to this particular high. So guys, this is the weekly forex forecast. This are the pair I'm looking at to trade next week. Make sure to stay safe, use your protective stop loss, and then don't gamble your accounts, don't gamble your money. And if you are trading a pro firm, make a plan for the pro firm according, and then use a very good risk management and a very good lot size, so that you won't invalidate the consistency rule if the one you are trading has a consistency rule. And don't forget, we still have the bots that trade GBP US dollar, so you can still opt in for the bots. The minimum account you should have is $1,000. So if you have that, just DM me, I will connect you to the bot. So guys, take care, have a good and a profitable trading week ahead.